Hello YouTube, how the heck are you? Jaylbayt here with another episode of Stardrive 2, playing as the Draylock Council. Now, some of you may immediately notice that the map looks a little bit different than it did in the last episode. Well, unfortunately, I lost my last couple of videos. They got corrupted somehow, I don't know how, and they just completely died. And unfortunately, a lot happened in those videos. So, as you know, I'll try and recap and give a little brief synopsis of what happened and kind of go over what happened so that you can understand how we got to where we are now. So, when we left, we were at war with the Volfar Imperium. I had created a couple new ships to deal with that threat. One was, and I've taken them out of my my thing. One was called a Shrike. It was a basically a big missile boat. Lots of missiles here, some point defense, but basically it was just there to throw tons of missiles into space to deal with these tiny little gooblers, because missiles are quite adept at seeking out small ships that aren't fast. If they're too fast, they'll usually can outrun the rockets, but it worked really well against the Volfar's little corvettes, and especially their frigates. We were able to destroy an incoming fleet of theirs, and apparently that was like the last of their big fleet. So immediately afterwards, what I did was I moved over to Enelaus and took their planet. I had also created a ship. I'm pretty sure I still have that one. The Pigeon, which is a bomber. Any of you that get the reference? No, because you've been bombed on by pigeons before. But I made a little pigeon bomber to go with me to Enelaus because we had no real way to take a planet. Our ground forces are kind of blah, and if you don't have bombs or ground forces, you basically sit here and blockade a planet, and you get like 25% of their resources towards your own. So that's science and income. And so I wanted to make sure that we took it out. So I bought up a pigeon, and we went over to Enelaus really quick, just pounded them, and in the next turn, the Volfar sued for peace. And so I said, okay, I'll be peaceful. And I did that because I knew that the Opterus hive was really close to declaring war on us because of that stupid thing that they thought Drell 2 should be ours, and blah blah blah. So I went ahead and sued for peace for them. A little bit later, they demanded Enelaus back, and I was like, you know what, that's fine, I'll give it to you, which allowed us to get a very nice approval rating with them. I refused to pay him tribute a little bit ago because no. And so we have a lot of good things happening here. The other good thing about this is that we'd actually stolen all of their technology by the time we took them out. So then, predictably, the Opterus hive declared war on us. Now, to kind of prepare for the Opterus hive, and because of a skirmish I'd had with them, I had realized that they were doing a lot of, or building up a lot of carrier ships. They had big cruisers that were just full of hangar bays. Not unlike our Pelican, but they were actually able to fit on like 2 more because of the design of the ship, which I find is interesting. It kind of goes to show that some races are better suited for some technologies based on the layout of their ships. So Opterus hive have 2 really long, like running port and starboard sides. They were able to fit 2 of these on each of them, and then 1 in the nose. So I've come to the conclusion that based on the ship style of your race may actually determine the technologies that you should focus on. So while we can fit 3 of these in here, it's not bad. That puts out 12 fighters apiece. They were putting out 20 fighters per ship. So I think that lends to them having a fighter-based military much better. So because of that, I decided, you know what, we need something to deal with all those fighters, because with that many fighters, they can be really effective. They actually ended up taking out was it Ethos? Yeah, Etho. They took the wormhole and took out Etho with just a swarm of ships, and I was like, holy crap. My fleet was still here at Annihilus. It couldn't make it in time, so I went back to Etho and took it back, and they were moving on Drell, so I immediately took the fleet that we had, took it through the wormhole, and conquered Zero right off the bat. And because their big fleet was missing, I actually took Zero fairly simply. I think we only lost 1 or 2 ships. And Zero really helped us out because this thing is a production monster. Look at this. 45 production. This thing is just crazy good with producing anything. They also have a lot of science here. I mean, being able to build your population, I think, is a pretty big bonus, because you don't need food, and you can just build up a ton of research and production. Anyways, so I went and took Zero, and I knew that they were coming to Entor, so I designed a new ship that would deal with all of those fighters, because one of the things we had got from the Volfar Imperium through the peace treaty is I forced them to give us mass drivers and fusion power. Now, fusion power is awesome because it gives you so much power. It's expensive, but it gives you like double what a nuclear power plant does, and that's really good for that. So we got mass drivers from the Volfar, and these things are crazy good. They do 2,000 damage up to 1,000 range, and that's basically the whole map. So these things just do tons of damage. But in order to fit these, because these things are massive, look at the size of them. You know, this is basically kind of the layout I went with our Falcon Mark 1s, was 2 big mass drivers. But the problem is they take up tons of space, and there's really no way to put armor on them or to defend the ship, so they're very susceptible to damage. So fighters would just come up and eat these things alive. So I built a fly swatter, and what it is 5 Vulcan cannons with extended arc ranges, tons of ammunition so that these things can just go for a while. Two full minutes of them just pounding on the fighters and missiles if needs be. But and you can see all it took was 3 little fusion power plants to get this thing fully powered. And so this turned out to be very good against the Opterus, because their fighters would come in. I would throw a couple of these guys I would lure the fighters into one of my big ships, like a Shrike or a Peregrine, which is basically a mass driver ship of a larger proportion. And while they were focused on taking out this guy, his shields were there. I would power the shields, and then my fly swatters would just be obliterating these fighters, because the Vulcan cannons they fire every half a second, and they do 15 damage. Well, fighters typically only have around 200 damage. So 5 of them, you're basically looking at every half a second 75 damage being done. So about every second and a half, one of them would die with one of these guys. And so they were taking them out very fast, very quickly, and I think is very good. Flat cannons, I think, are the best point defense weapon that you can get. They do extra damage, but their refire rate is really long in comparison to Vulcan cannons, and that's fine against missiles, because missiles don't come in as much as fast. But with, I mean, I was dealing with, I think, about 100 fighters in the battle for Drelok. So the refire time on Vulcan cannons was just basically just constant damage on these things, and it was really, really good. Really won that battle for me. We took heavy losses, but in the end, we destroyed their fleet. Now, when that had happened, and we killed their big fleet at Drelok, we owned their home planet of 1 and 0. We destroyed their fleet. They were like, "We want peace, you know, we want peace." And I said, no. Basically, we'd stolen all the technology we were from them. They were going to be pissy at us. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Volfar, because they keep demanding stuff. They demand Inlaeus, I gave it to them. They demanded a tribute, I gave it to them because I was dealing with the Opterus. I think they're going to come back to war with us fairly soon, and I really didn't want to fight on two fronts. The other thing is the Opterus was just... They have such wonderful things. I didn't want to give them back one. I took the world here in Mimas, which is a huge planet. It's a tundra, abundant. It's heavy G, but the point is that it's a really nice world. And I assume that there will be some kind of terraforming in the future, and so a huge world that we can terraform up to a Gaia will be fantastic. I don't know what that is. And then, of course, there's Entar. Here, I went to take it, but my first bomb actually killed out the population, so it just destroyed the colony. They also had colonies on both of these Mimas places, but colony maintenance, as you can see here at minus 57, it gets really high. All those little buildings that you're building on all the colonies, it gets really crazy. So, holding too many colonies is actually a detriment to a society until you have the wealth and the monetary means to keep yourself in the black. So the other one that they had here was an alpha, and I just destroyed it. I didn't want to deal with it and get too spread out. So I think we're in a good place now. We have a monster producer here in 1. We have a decent planet in Mimas. I will eventually colonize Entar again, just because it's that large Terran planet, which can be very nice for us. But you can see our freighters, we're actually not hauling a ton of food. A lot of these planets that we picked up are providing their own food. The colony of 1 doesn't even have people on it. It's all these conquered bugs, which apparently are very nice. There's no approval. They're just like, whatever. They don't get happy. They don't get sad. They just run programs. 10 points to you if you understand that reference. All right. So this is where we're at. I'm sorry that we lost the footage. I could theoretically go back to an earlier save and replay it. But a lot happened, which leads me to the point where I'd rather not replay it because it could play out very, very differently. And there were points where I really thought that we were done, that the Opterus and the Volfar were just going to destroy us. So I like where we're at now. I think we're in a good place, and so I'm just going to go forward from this point with the videos, and hopefully that will allow us to continue on with our playthrough. Unfortunately, I wish you could have seen it. It was pretty action-packed and intense. But I think we're in a good place, and to go back and replay it risks us losing out and dying out. So I'll leave it to you. If there's an overwhelming support to go back and play from a previous save, I will do so. But for the moment, I'm just going to continue on. So we are currently trying to get our fleet back. I think they're going to run out of fuel, to be honest. I hadn't thought about the fact that if we didn't conquer this planet, our influence wouldn't go out here, and so we'd have to return. So, yeah, we may have some fuel issues. I've got one here. They built up a couple of fly swatters. I thought that they might come back to this place to try and take it back. But as you can see, I've basically queued up everything for this planet to produce, because they just can produce everything. Oh, there's the Shrike. That's interesting. We can build it, but it's not actually in our list. So, can we just get rid of it? Guess not. Okay, so we're going to continue on. I do want to look at our spies. We got a lot of spies back from the Opterus when we destroyed them. You can see here with the Volfar we can actually embed an agent, so let's go ahead and do that. And then let's go ahead and put a bunch into the Polyps, so that we already have an agent with them as well. So we can start getting our spying happening. We're going to leave a defensive spy back just to make sure that they can eliminate any spies that are over here. Defensive spies provide a small chance, their defensive value divided by 100, to eliminate an enemy spy each turn. They have a smaller chance to eliminate enemy moles. So I think if we have more spies defensively, we have better chances at finding and destroying spies or moles. I wonder if it tells us if our technology gets stolen. Not sure. I don't think so. Okay. I think that that's Entar. We're going to colonize that. Yeah, so you can see that some of our forces are abroad. That's with the main fleet. I'd actually lost a few because I tried to do a smash and grab on the Volfar Imperium. It basically formed a little thing right here. I don't know why it wasn't in their space, but it was right here next to Etho. And so I sent a group, and you can only send 4 guys. But the science lab had like 2 giant mechoids with like 150 health each. It was crazy, and so I got obliterated. It was no good. Ground game is not for us, guys. Maybe if we can hire up some more of these like super warriors from Nikelestet? I don't know. And maybe equip them with some better weapons or something. You know, I don't know. But our guys are just weak in the ground game. Mostly because you almost have to put that 20 hit point on them or else they get killed in one round. So the ground is not for us. I would take them with us to take over planets, but basically I would just bombard a planet until they had no ground forces and then capture it, because our ground forces could never actually succeed in taking a planet by force on the ground. So that's where we're at. What is this? You're building that. Oh, I want to take a look and make sure nobody's building ships. You can see we're fairly close to our command point limit, and I really don't want them doing that. Most people are building automated factories. Okay, that's fine. But what are you? Are you guys fly swatters too? Yes. So I've got all these fly swatters. I may actually disband them, or refit them to be Falcons, the mass driver dudes, because the Volfar don't use fighters, and if they do, it's very minimal, and the normal point defense will work against them. The other thing is mass drivers are crazy good against battle stations or space stations, because the one thing I've noticed with the mass drivers is while they're very long range, they do tons of damage, they miss a lot. Your crew needs to be very proficient in order to hit with mass drivers, especially from long range. However, against star bases, since they don't move, they're easy to hit. And so those mass drivers just tear them to pieces. It's very good. All right. So yeah, let's go. Our ECM jammer technology can be done in 3 turns, but I don't think we have to worry too much about that. I'm going to get our fleet back here and then over to Etho, because we want a deterrent for the Volfar Imperium. Also, I want to see... We don't have a trade agreement going with them. These guys are just jerks. Our tolerance is very low, or very used up. I also learned, so check this out. Say we want a medium trade agreement with the Volfar. Okay, no problem. I could do the same, but you see how this goes above our tolerance. Well, we can still do the deal. Okay? It just, what it does is it makes it so that we take a huge approval rating hit until this ticks down below our tolerance maximum. But we can still do these deals even if our tolerance is above it, because we can do what we want to do. They said no, but I think they would take it. So what we can do here is we can just give them money. For this, but I think there might be, because these guys really like technology, especially ship module technology. Oh, but our people won't. See, our people won't allow that. The payment we can do, though. So let's do this. Alright, and we'll get a trade agreement going. And we have trade with these guys for 10 more turns. Okay. So we spent a lot of money for the trade, but in the end it will be for a benefit, and hopefully it'll improve relations with the Volfar so that they don't attack us immediately. I think it'll take them saying that we have a world that they belongs to them to get them to really go to war with us again. You can see though that they've got a fleet here, so things are picking up. Alright. We've got construction down here. You can see we've got 2 idle colonies. We don't want that. This is, what is this? Drill 1. So this is one of our production facilities. You can see we're up to 22 production. Not bad. So let's go ahead and get a pollution resequencer in there to get some of that pollution down. And then we'll go research lab. And we really want to get our economy back up, so we'll start building some of those banks and stuff to help get that going. And then who else? Drellock. Hello, Drellock. How about you? Modifier to money generation. Let's get your factory going, and then spaceport. We're going to get another population in 2 turns. How long would this be to build? Maybe we do that first. Okay. Our fleet is running out of fuel. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. We're really close. As soon as we enter back into our space, we'll move at a normal rate, but until then we're going to be slow. That is unfortunate. It leads us a little bit susceptible. Alright, so we got ECM jammers. These things are cool. So I've seen these in effect, but basically you'll see a missile coming right for your ship, and then it will immediately just kind of like jolt another way. And that's what these ECM jammers are. It's really kind of funny looking. Alright, so we need new research. We can afford now to kind of back away from some of the military researches. What we could do is actually try one of these experimentals. Oh, it's Xeno Intelligence Agency. +1 research per turn. No, I think we go with the Xeno Intelligence Agency. We'll do our experimental after this. Okay. Let's keep it going. Rover bay's been completed on Mimas. Let's go ahead here. So Mimas has these like android workers. I don't know if they need food. Like, it doesn't say that they're actually producing food. Consumption by race. -1, -2. I guess they still require food. That's interesting. I guess with the Opterus, food just doesn't increase their population. But it's still needed to... That's interesting. Alright, so maybe we make them food self-sufficient. That'll free up... Although we've got... Look at this. We've got freighters by the droves and tons of food excess. So I'm just going to put them on production for now. And we will build... What do we want for you guys? I think we're just going to go with the standard automated factory to begin with, just so that they can get some more production going, and then we'll build out some of these other things. Yeah. Alright. The other thing I wanted to see is... Alright, so we've got tons of farming here. Drell 2, we know, is a farming powerhouse. So we can afford, I think, to... Oop, not that. To take some of these off and put them to science. Not on Drellock, though. That hurts our income. Okay. Although they have 6. I remember saying that I think 5 was the maximum, but I think more than I think about it now, I think it has to do with the surplus that you produce. So, depending on how much population you have, man, these guys are unhappy with overcrowding. So what I may do with these two is there's that research called urban infrastructure. Yeah, minus 50% unhappiness from overcrowding. That will help with their happiness levels. So, let's see here. Lothar. Let's go ahead. Let's see. I'm not sure if that does much. +2 production or +6 research. I like the research. This is going to be done in 3 turns. Etho has no farming, and they're at max population, so we're going to let them just do that. 1, obviously, tons of production happening here. Once they finish this, it'll be even more. In fact, can I turn from here? No, I can't. Okay. I want to see what that is. We'll take a turn. Now they're up to 53. That is so much production. So much. And the thing is, once we get this, once we get all of these things built, we can just do trade goods, and it's going to produce a lot of money for us. A lot of money. We could also produce spies probably every turn. Maybe 2 spies per turn. What does a spy cost? It's 80. So a spy every 2 turns, roughly? Or 3 spies every 2 turns? Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, our fleet is in. What I want to do is get our fleet over. Lothar 3 has built their automated factory. Good for you. Alright, Lothar 3, your population isn't maxed yet. You have 14 production, but 10 pollution. You're farming, you're producing enough food for everybody here. In fact, I can move you, and you're still producing enough food for everybody because of the aeroponic farm. I love the aeroponic farms. So let's go ahead and build you guys. You don't need this just yet. Let's actually increase your ability to produce, and then we'll start building stuff like maybe soil enrichment, maybe research lab. Yeah. Okay. Starbase is done at Drell 2. Imperial Bank is done at 1. Drell 2, hello. How are you? You have not built an automated factory yet. Your population is getting close to maximum, which you're unhappy about. We could do this and maybe do that, but I think with you guys, you already have the bank and the starport. Yeah, let's do this and then maybe this. I think would be good. Alright, so our fleet has reached here, they've refueled, they redocked. Let's go ahead and merge. And then we're gonna look at this. There's a colony ship coming to Etho. What? What is this nonsense? Oh, the Volfar are ticking me off. We may have to destroy their faces. That is not cool. Our trade treaty with the polyps have expired. Okay. Let us. Hello, you guys. Our tolerances are all fairly similar. Oops. They're not willing to do that. These guys are so crazy with their trade, it ticks me off. So I think with them, maybe we just stick to technological trades. Clean energy would be nice. Battle stations. I think clean energy. And what can we give you guys? No. No. The thing is, they have a lot of advanced sciences that we don't have. I don't want to give them more science. Okay. No. give them disruptor cannons. Actually, disruptor cannons might not be bad. Where did we get disruptor cannons? Let's give them mandatory service, because I don't plan on fighting with these guys, and they're not really, like, I don't see these guys being very what's the word? Aggressive? Okay, so that's that. We need 600 from you. These things you won't give because they're too much. Maybe a trilithium? Yeah. Does this tell us what it does? No. So we'll get a trilithium. I don't know what it does, and maybe some credits. Yeah. Boom. Good deal. Yeah, keeping trade up with them is going to be hard because they value it so high. So we got to really produce a lot of happiness with them. So that may be something that we do with our spies, in addition to putting moles into their operations and stealing their technologies. But you saw the technologies were high, so those are going to be like 1,000+ research point technologies. And our spies right now are at 78. We need more moles. That's alright, we'll get there. Oh, I forgot about this scout. There was like some anomaly over here we could have visited, but I forgot to do it. Bummer. Alright, let's go here. I knew this was coming. So we'd hate to be on their bad side, which is a fortified bunker in a remote location until next time. So the Volfar have declared war on us again. We had a really nice approval rating with them, see? But they still declare war. Why? That makes no sense to me. Diplomacy in this game seems to be a little off. I think there needs to be a little bit of readjustment here. Something like races won't just randomly go to war with you when they have a positive approval rating. Oh man. Oh well, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, they're militarists, they're evil, they're expansionists. Okay. But if they like somebody, maybe they shouldn't go to war with them. So I'm probably going to have to beat these guys down again. Hopefully we can do it relatively simple. Like, the first thing is go here to this stupid planet they just colonized and destroy them. You know, so boom, captured. So they basically colonized a planet for us. Thank you. Appreciate y'all your help. As you can see, that's going to hurt us in colony maintenance again because we have a net loss of 2. We have extra colonies. I mean, it's just annoying. I probably should have just bombed this place and killed it and not actually captured it. Shoot. C'est la vie. Alright. So they've got a fleet here. It's coming for us. If you see, it's still a small fleet. Nothing to worry about too much. However, our fleet... What do we have? We have a peregrine. We have 2 peregrines. Oh my gosh. We have 4 falcons and 2 fly swatters. This is actually a really good fleet. So I'll just camp them here. These guys are coming for them, and we'll we'll have to, smack the dog, rub his nose in it. I really am not wanting to destroy them as a race entirely and take over a bunch of their worlds because A, we can't afford it. And B, I want to be able to trade with them, and hopefully what I'm thinking that we may need to do, oh man, and I don't know if it's going to be possible, but maybe pump a ton of propaganda into these guys, get their happiness with us way up, and then have them do like a non-aggression pact or something. So, I don't know. I mean, there's still like 2 or 3 races we haven't even discovered yet, guys. There's probably one here, there's probably one out here or over here. So, we really need to get off of this war bullcrap so we can send our scouts out to find these other races so we can start trading with them. Hopefully they're not as militaristic as these 2 guys. I mean, we got like sandwiched between 2 war races, which kind of stink. But anyways, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm sorry for the lost episodes. Hopefully we got you all caught back up into where things are happening. I am really enjoying the game at this point. I think we're, aside from some of the annoying stuff about the wars, I like where our technology is going. I like that our spies have been doing some cool stuff. And I think we're in a good position. So, until next time, I've been Jaylbayt, and you live free, game hard.